just weeks after standing on top of the Olympic podium with a gold medal shining around her neck and the entire skating world celebrating her comeback story, Alysa Liu made a decision that stunned fans everywhere. The 20-year-old American champion, one of the most exciting figures in modern figure skating, has officially chosen not to compete at the upcoming World Figure Skating Championships in Prague. For many fans, the reaction was immediate. Why now? Why would the reigning Olympic champion skip one of the biggest events of the year? Why would a skater who dominated last season suddenly step away from the stage where she once ruled? And perhaps the most intriguing question of all, is this simply a strategic break after an exhausting Olympic season, or is there a deeper story behind Alysa Liu's surprising choice? Tonight, we take a closer look at the decision that has everyone in the skating world talking. Because when an athlete like Alysa Liu steps back from the spotlight, it's never just a simple schedule change. Sometimes, it's the beginning of a much bigger story. To understand why this moment matters, you first have to understand who Alysa Liu really is. For many Americans, Liu isn't just another figure skater. She's a symbol of something rare in modern sports, a fearless young athlete who rewrote expectations and then walked away from the sport entirely before coming back stronger than ever. Born in California, Alysa Liu entered the skating world as a prodigy. Even as a child, coaches and analysts could see something different in her skating. There was speed, precision, fearlessness, but more than anything, there was personality. Unlike many young athletes trained to appear perfect and composed, Liu skated with a kind of joyful freedom. She wasn't trying to look like the traditional ice princess. She was simply being herself. And that authenticity would eventually make her one of the most talked-about skaters of her generation. But early success can come with a cost. The life of an elite figure skater is brutally demanding. Hours of training every day, constant travel, endless pressure to perform. By the time Liu reached the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, she had already spent most of her life inside skating rinks and training facilities. And shortly after those games ended, she shocked the entire skating community. At just 16 years old, Alysa Liu announced she was retiring from competitive figure skating. For fans, it felt like watching a rising star disappear overnight. Why would someone so young and so talented walk away from a career that seemed destined for Olympic glory? The answer, Liu later explained, was simple. She was exhausted. Not physically, but emotionally. Years of pressure had drained the joy from the sport she once loved. So she stepped away. No competitions, no training schedule, no expectations. For the first time in years, Alysa Liu was simply living life like a normal teenager. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn, because something interesting happened during that break. Instead of drifting away from skating forever, Liu began to miss it. Not the pressure, not the competition, but the feeling of skating itself. The freedom of gliding across the ice, the creativity of performing, and slowly, quietly, a new idea started to form.
What if she came back? Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. When Alysa Liu returned to competition 2 years later, the skating world watched closely. Some wondered whether the long break had cost her the sharpness required at the elite level. Others believed the time away might have given her something even more powerful: perspective. And it didn't take long to see which theory was correct. In 2025, Liu captured the World Championship title in Boston. The victory wasn't just impressive, it was historic. She became the first American woman in nearly 2 decades to win the world title, bringing the spotlight back to U.S. women's figure skating. But that triumph was only the beginning. Months later came the moment every athlete dreams about: the Winter Olympic Games in Milano-Cortina. The pressure was immense. The entire world was watching. And yet, when Alysa Liu stepped onto the Olympic ice, something remarkable happened. She looked completely calm, not tense, not overwhelmed, just ready. Her performances were electric, powerful jumps, fluid choreography, and a confidence that made it clear she wasn't just competing, she was owning the moment. When the final scores were announced, Alysa Liu had done it. Olympic gold. For American figure skating fans, the victory carried deep emotional weight. The United States hadn't seen a women's Olympic champion in the sport since 2002. More than 2 decades had passed until Alysa Liu changed that. But the Olympics weren't the only highlight of her season. She also helped lead Team USA to another gold medal in the Olympic team event, skating alongside teammates who delivered strong performances across the competition. By the time the Games ended, Liu had accomplished something extraordinary: 2 Olympic gold medals and the status of one of the biggest stars in international skating. So when news broke that she would not compete at the World Championships in Prague, fans were stunned. After all, Liu had dominated that event just last year. She won both the short program and the free skate, capturing the women's world title in dramatic fashion. Naturally, many expected her to defend that title this season. But behind the scenes, the reality of the Olympic year had taken its toll. Competing at the highest level requires an intense preparation schedule, months of training, travel, media appearances, recovery. And according to reports, Liu's demanding schedule since the Olympics has made it difficult to properly prepare for another World Championship campaign. For an athlete known for pushing technical limits and delivering flawless performances, entering a competition without full preparation simply isn't an option. So instead of forcing herself onto the ice before she's ready, Liu made the difficult decision to step back. And in elite sports, sometimes the hardest choice is the smartest one. Still, the announcement sparked a wave of reactions across the skating community. Some fans expressed disappointment. They had hoped to see Liu defend her world title and continue the momentum from her Olympic triumph. Others, however, saw the decision differently. They viewed it as a sign of maturity. After all, Alysa Liu has already proven she can reach the highest level in the sport. Perhaps now she's learning something even more important: how to protect her longevity. Sports analysts also pointed out an interesting pattern. Many Olympic champions choose to skip the World Championships that follow the Games. The Olympic season is one of the longest and most demanding cycles in sports. Athletes often begin competing in early autumn and continue through months of qualifying events, national championships, international competitions, and finally the Olympics themselves. By the time the Games conclude, many athletes are physically and mentally drained. Taking time to recover isn't weakness, it's strategy. But beyond the physical demands, there's another layer to Alysa Liu's story, one that makes her different from many athletes before her. Liu has never been afraid to make unconventional decisions. She retired at 16, returned stronger than ever, won the biggest titles in the sport, and built a personal image that challenges traditional expectations. Her distinctive hairstyle, bold personality, and relaxed approach to competition have helped her connect with younger fans in ways few figure skaters ever have. She doesn't fit the old stereotype of a perfect, polished ice princess. Instead, she represents a new generation of athletes who value authenticity over perfection. And perhaps that's why so many fans respect her decisions, even when they're surprising. Because Alysa Liu has always been honest about one thing: her love for skating must come first. Without that passion, the medals mean nothing. So what does this decision mean for her future? That's the question everyone is asking. Is this simply a temporary pause after an incredible Olympic season? Or could Liu once again step away from competition to focus on other aspects of life? At just 20 years old, she has already accomplished more than most athletes achieve in an entire career.
Olympic champion, world champion, team Olympic gold medalist, and perhaps most impressively, a comeback story that inspired millions of fans around the world. Whatever path she chooses next, one thing seems clear. Alysa Liu will continue to do things her own way. And maybe that's exactly why people can't stop watching her journey. But now we want to hear from you. Do you think Alysa Liu made the right decision by skipping the World Championships? Or were you hoping to see her defend her title in Prague? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Because in the world of sports, every decision sparks debate, and your opinion is part of the conversation. And if you enjoy deep dive celebrity stories like this one, make sure you subscribe to Celeb World Insight for more behind-the-scenes stories from the worlds of entertainment, sports, and global fame. Don't forget to like the video, share it with fellow skating fans, and stay tuned, because our next story explores another surprising twist involving one of the biggest names in celebrity culture. And trust us, you won't want to miss it.